It's Friday, November 8th. My name is Marissa and this is MKissa Creations. This is my Flosstube channel. It's a little section of YouTube where we primarily talk about cross stitch. Sometimes I talk about quilting, and I do crochet as well. But today is just cross stitch, as it has been for a little while. And it's been a week. It's been 3 weeks since you last saw me, and I made it back before 4, which I'm super excited about. I wanted to give a big hello and thank you to all of my new subscribers. My last video hit something the right way, and I have a lot of new friends here. So I hope you stick around, and thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. I do hope you find something to stick around for. Okay, so let's see, we did Halloween. Our girls had a great time. They just trick-or-treated in our little tiny neighborhood. Last year we met up with friends and it ended up being kind of chaotic. And so this year we decided we would just do our own thing and we'd join friends as we found them. And it worked out so well. It was much more laid back and relaxed. There was no pressure of like when we were going to meet somebody. And my girls got to trick-or-treat with all of their friends in the neighborhood at different points throughout the night. So it was absolutely wonderful. Just an overall good day with the friends. My work life wise, we've started interviewing for this season. So I work in graduate medical education, and we are looking for 4 new wonderful doctors to add to our program. And it's exciting and it's busy for me, but I love it. And it's been really fun because this round of doctors are all of not super exciting for them, but they're all of the people that were starting med school when like the yucks happened. And so a lot of them had to return home like after starting their first year. And these are just like a big group of people that have persevered through a lot. But in that, a lot of them had developed a lot of stay-at-home hobbies, I think more so than maybe other classes. And so I've met a few cross-stitchers already during interview season, which has been really awesome. So yeah, it's great. It's been really fun to see all the different hobbies that kind of came out of that time period and are now like joining might be joining our program or are interviewing for our program. And so it's just really cool. So enough life. Let's do cross stitch. So last weekend we had our annual Stitchy group party. Usually we have it around Christmas time, but we decided this year that we would do it earlier in the year so that it wouldn't be as chaotic. And I was gonna hold on, I was gonna grab something out to show. That's where I keep all my project bags, live in the living room right here. The clouds and the sun are doing fun things outside, so this might be a little bit of a challenge, but I don't think it'll ever be truly terrible. So anyways, we did our Stitchy meetup a little bit early this year, which I think was really great because it was just a lot less stress. It wasn't surrounded by the holidays. We were originally planning on doing it in the summer, but the summer is very stressful, I think, for a lot of us. And so we ended up pushing it to fall. And so we did it this last weekend. We do a little gift exchange where I think Helen puts our names into like I think actually her husband puts our names into a little like Secret Santa type of simulator and pops them all out, and then he emails us with who we have. So she doesn't know either. So super thank you to John. It is a wonderful addition to our Stitchy group that he does that for us so that everybody can be surprised. So I had my friend Tina, and I stitched for Tina. So Tina tends to stitch like a lot of really fun bright colors. She loves jewel tones like I do. She's a purple girl. Like she's often had purple hair. Oh, look, I added purple to my hair. It's now allowed at work, and so I didn't do all of it, and I've been growing out my grays and kind of hoping that every time she like combs it over, it'll just like take out the grays will turn purple. So it's been kind of it's fun. I've had it for like 2 weeks now. She did it 1 week and then like re-upped it for me to make sure that it all really stuck. Anyways, my friend Tina also does purple hair a lot of times, so if you've met her or seen her at a retreat, she often has purple hair too. So what I did for her, because she recently visited the Cryptozoology Museum, which we have up here in Maine, and I kind of snuck into her comments, and I was like, hey, what are your favorite cryptids? Because she likes like tiny modernist and that type of style of stitching usually, so I didn't know if like she would ever really stitch any of the cryptids from Witchy Stitcher for herself. And I myself have been working on the stitch along, so I have the patterns. And so I will insert here what I stitched for Tina. So I stitched her Mothman and Bigfoot, which are her two favorite cryptids. Bigfoot first and then Mothman close second. I subbed out some purple. I used the purple silk that I'm using for Act of God. It's a Silks4U silk. It is very like in the $5.50-ish range, I would say, as far as like a DMC conversion would go. So I added a bunch of purple to it to make it more Tina-fied. And then I finished it with a Lady Dot Creates pom-pom trim. It was my first time doing it. I, of course, left my finishing for the night before. And so was frantically watching a Helen D. I was like, how do I get these pom-poms off? And I was watching a Helen D tutorial on, number one, how to separate the pom-poms from like that little outer trim that exists on it. And number two, how to sew them on, because usually I am also so at last minute that I'm like gluing my trim on, which is fine, nothing against gluing, but I really wanted these to have that like finished, nice look. You know, it's a gift for one of my friends. I want them to be able to like display it proudly in their house. And so yeah, so thank you to Helen D for providing us with all the lovely tutorials, and I will link that specific tutorial down below if you are wondering how to put on pom-pom trim and how to separate the Lady Dot Creates pom-poms from their like tape, which so helpful. I was like, I don't know what to cut. Am I supposed to cut this? She does a really great job at showing you exactly what to cut and what not to. I'm going to share a funny story about what happened while I was stitching this project. So I have been bringing my stitching to a lot of places with me, and one of my daughters swims, and so and we've been doing like orthodontia too. So I've been bringing to orthodontist appointments, and I'm bringing to swimming practice. And so at swim practice, I was sitting on the bleachers and I was stitching, and I had printed out a paper copy of the pattern so that I didn't have to like be looking at my phone or, you know, fiddling with any sort of tablet. And I dropped my pattern into the bottom of the bleachers, that it's like up above in an observation deck of the pool area. And so I was like totally bummed, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, well, now what am I gonna do? Thankfully, I had carried my cryptid stitching in the bag that I also store my cryptid project in. And so I literally just took out my current like project. I was working on Mothman, and then I was like using this as a guide as to where to put my stitches. So technically I guess part of her pattern is a reproduction because I was stitching it from my piece rather than a pattern. Then I'm gonna insert a silly video. The next week I get this video from my husband. So we'll just put this in. And this video is him showing me that he found I think he sat in like the same spot the next week that I had been sitting in, and he looked down into the bleachers and there was my Mothman pattern still sitting there. So sorry to the pool. It is obviously not going to blow into the pool. It is an indoor pool. The observation area is way far away from the pool. It's not going to like be littered into the pool. But I am sorry for the community center. I did leave some paper goods behind. So anyways, long story long, that is my silly cryptid story. So I'm just going to share a little bit of Stitchy kindness because it's on like the same vein as our Stitchy group. So my friend Cheryl had me, and so we put in, we do like a little Google sheet, and we can all see everyone's preferences on their Google sheet. And so one of the questions is always favorite holiday, and I put, you know, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, but I also just put summer, like I'm claiming summer as a holiday. I love summer. We're a beachy house, a tiki house, and so my friend Cheryl is also a beach person. She's kind of a parrot head, so the parrot heads and tiki tend to cross over a little bit. But she stitched this adorable piece for me. Oh, and I forgot who the designer is. I'll have to look it up or message her and then put it below, because I totally forget. But when I first opened it, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful and so cool. And then I looked at it even closer, and it is teeny, teeny, tiny stitches. So I think she said it was 46 count. I've actually never seen anything on 46 count before, but it is so stinking cute, and I'm kind of tempted to stitch on 64 count myself. And then I think she did the sun with like variegateds, and I don't know if those are what are called for, but it's so cool. It's so beachy and so summer, and her little frame is so cute. She did such a good job. Thank you, Cheryl. It's gonna live here next to my stitch from Missy from last year, which is also kind of summery, and they will just live here year round with all of my little pin cushions. But that's an Erin Elizabeth, I think. Her summer tears, or yeah. So yeah. Okay. Oh, also a little bit more stitchy kindness. So Hollandy has a couple donors that donate to her cause, and she usually does giveaways on her channel, but she also, you know, lets her friends know that she does kind of share with our group as well. And she had a bag of some really awesome goodies, and we all like picked numbers and got to pass it around and pick out stuff we wanted. So I've got this really beautiful linen. It's a 36 count. We don't know what color it is, but it's kind of like a greeny gray. I don't know if that's going to pick up very well. It's really, really lovely. And it does have a little area where some stitches were picked out of it before, but I'm not going to complain about that. This is a half yard of linen. No complaints here. That is like, I mean, you might as well have put like $50 in my pocket. So I am extremely grateful for that. And then this has just been like a long dog, I don't know, second half of the year, I guess. Two of the other the patterns that were in the bag of goodies were Templar Prophecy, no, Quinto Acuto, the pointed fifth. So this one, which I have seen like a rainbow conversion of this on Instagram, and if you just like search the hashtag for Quinto Acuto, it comes up. Even though hashtags like don't work that much anymore, it will come up for this one, I promise. And they actually they stitched it with Cosmo Floss, but it has all of the floss numbers that they used. And they did like a solid outline, and then like did a light to dark like rainbow across. So it goes like rainbow across, and it like light to dark of each shade, which is like amazing and inspiring. And I definitely will probably take inspiration from that. And this one I will definitely be starting, not sure when, and it might even get started on that half yard because it is awesome. And then the other Stitchy Kindness that I got that was in that same bag was another long dog, and it's the Pilgrim. And this hasn't really been on my list, but I'm going to keep it in my stash for a little while and kind of see how I end up feeling about it. I do like it. It's not like I said, it has not been on my radar to grab and stitch. Quinto Acuto, however, has. So that one I think is more likely to get started, especially before this one. I don't know, this one might end up going to like one of you, but we'll see. And then Jules came out with a brand new pattern today. It's called the Fisher King or the Fisher Knight. I don't remember which. It's real tempting just to own, to start whenever I want. So we'll see. But let's get on to what I have worked on. Actually, let's do a really big thank you. Thank you to my eagle-eyed viewers. There are quite a few of you. I appreciate it so much. I showed you my Long Dog the Token last week, and I was like, yeah, I was all worried about this symmetrical blah 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 blah, and I'm like pointing out the things that I changed, and a bunch of you were like, hey lady, you didn't finish your project and it's not symmetrical. Thank you. Please don't ever feel like you shouldn't tell a stitcher if they're missing stitches, especially if we haven't framed it yet. I don't know, if I had it framed, I might not want to hear from you. But I didn't have it framed, and I would be sad if I had framed that and then noticed that it was not there, like especially if I paid to have it framed. But also, like, we put a lot of effort into framing our own pieces, at least I do. I really try to like make sure that it's like finished, and I'm happy to have it on my wall. I've had some that are like a little sloppy on the back, and if you don't care, it's hanging on your wall. But like me, I want my piece to be finished, done, on the wall, ready to go, done. Anyways, it was not. So thank you. And I said, oh, you're not going to see this piece again until, until I have it framed. Remember how I said I'm a giant liar on Flosstube all the time? Here it is again. So I was missing like a big chunk of this top leaf right here. I like had totally left it out. So I wanted to say thank you and then show you all that I had finished it, and it is now officially finished. If I missed anything else, I missed it. It's done. It's gone. I am on the quest for a frame. So, as part of my giant thank you for that, I am giving away the token. And not only am I giving away the token, I made up 4 10-meter mini skeins of the Silks4U silk that I use. I don't remember it by heart. I don't know what number it is. It's down below. I'm always happy to answer your questions, but please know it's there for you. I'm not hiding it from you. It is not a secret I keep in my head. I obviously can't remember it. It's down in the description box. I always put it down there. It is down there for you. But I'm going to give away 4 little mini skeins that I made. They are 10 meters each. So this is 40 meters. So this, in Jules' description, it says that if you're stitching it on 16 count using 2 strands and then 1 strand for backstitch, that it's going to take 76 meters. So this isn't enough to stitch it on 16 count, but it is enough to stitch it on 36 count or 18 count with 1 strand, and it's enough to stitch it on 40 count or 20 count with 1 strand. If you cannot stitch on that high of a count and you win this, let's talk, okay? Because I do have some more, but if you're planning on stitching it on one of those counts, you will have plenty of this to stitch it with and then some. So to enter to get the token and the 4 little 10-meter mini skeins that I made of PR beautiful red that variegates from 666 to 815, I think. Don't know the number, but again, down below. I would like you to use the word silk in your comment, because this is going to be a little bit thicker of a package. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it to US only, just because the flosses are going to make things a little bulkier and it's not just like something I can fold up small. So use the word silk. I will draw that before my next video. Danica, who won Bienvenue, you're welcome to enter again. I just wanted to let you know I mailed out your package today, so it was a little bit later than I wanted it to be, but it is on its way, and you will be able to add another long dog to your collection. But yeah, if you would like to stitch the token and you would like to stitch it in that beautiful red, please use the word silk in your comment, and I will add you to the drawing and I will draw it in my next video. And yeah. All right. I have an FFO. Let's do a FFO. I have an FFO. So I think I showed you last time a frame that I found while thrifting that I thought I was going to use for my Ink Circles 99. It was a little bigger and bulkier than I wanted it to be, and we've been doing some like eBay reselling lately, and we've been glasses. And so I've been at the thrift store more than I have been before, and I still look at the frames, and I still have my list of what I need to frame. And then I found a Michael's custom frame. Okay, hot cross-stitch finish tip, because this was the last one I had too. If you can find a custom frame, I would almost say no matter what size it is, if you like the frame, buy it. Because when like Michael's frame stuff, you're getting a piece of like pre-cut foam core for the exact size of the frame that you need. It's already in there. So I found this frame, ripped open the back, pinned my piece to the piece of, most likely because it was filmed at Michael or framed at Michael's, an acid-free piece of foam core. I think all of it probably is, but we always want to make sure everything's going to be preserved the right way. And I pinned it to it, and then I taped up the back, and then here we go. So I found this absolutely perfect frame for $99. So this is $99 by Ink Circles. These are all 99 beer bottles. It is, I think, pretty close to centered. I did measure as I was pinning, and then like this part, it didn't bother me as much because I was like, well, it's kind of like halfway centered between the bottom of these and the bottom of the shelf. I did put a piece of quilt batting in this one because that was sort of what I was disappointed that I didn't do for the piece that I framed, the pumpkin passport that I showed you last video. But this is done and it's on the wall. My husband came home and he was like, where is it going? So it actually lives like right over there above this Haunted Mansion piece from Barbie Pedal Pusher. So it lives right above that. So we can see it. It's in our living room. And I'm so proud of this one. I'm just so excited that I found this like exact right frame. But again, if you are a thrifter and you find any custom framing at the thrift store, I got this for $4. I didn't have to cut my own piece of foam core. I was thinking about bringing it to Helen's to see if I could use her kachunker. That's the little thing that like shoves those little, like, they're not nails. They're like very flat. They hold the foam core. So this is the back. So they hold like, they're in here. They like hold the foam core into the thing. So, and it had a wired piece. The frame was originally this way. So like there's, oh, yep. So they were originally here and here. It was a horizontal piece that was framed. So I just unscrewed them, shortened the wire, and then re-screwed them in. So I didn't even have to buy any hardware. I didn't have to buy any foam core. Like literally this was a $4 finish. I mean, I used my brown paper and masking tape. Because I've never been able to find the, I guess I could look online. I just never do that. I just used regular masking tape to hold the brown paper on, but I never find that framing tape. I need to get my hands on some of those because then they would look like even more fanciful. But yeah. So Ink Circles 99, finished, done, dusted, and 99 bottles of beer are living on the wall. I am so stoked. So I wanted to share that. And then let's move on to my whips. All right, I've worked on quite a few things. Whips are works in progress. If you are new around the Flosstube world, you will hear that a lot. That is actually one of our one of our acronyms. We have a lot of initialisms too, but that one we've got the whips. So WIPS, works in progress. Let's start with so this one that I'm not going to take out. So I stitched, oh gosh. Okay, sorry. I stitched, this has been my, like, you need to calm down piece since 2020. And it was a need to calm down week. So I am stitching Consider the Lilies. The reason that this is my calm down piece is the verse that's on it. Consider the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor spin. This has been what I've needed this week. And so this is what I've been stitching on. I finished 2 lilies and started a disco turkey. Disco turkey is a peacock. I don't remember where that came from or who made that up, but I enjoy calling peacocks disco turkeys. So that is where I am on 99. This is the right, this is this peacock right here. I didn't take it out of the frame because I'm going to or my Q-snap because I'm going to continue to work on it. And I actually am going to try to go a little bit further this way before I put it away again. But I have, the house is done and the tree is done. I'm done up to here. So we are moving well past the halfway mark on Consider the Lilies, which has been enjoyable. The thing that I had worked on first and haven't really picked up again, which I need to, is the Santa key. No chimney, no problem. We own a Santa key at our house because we do not have a real fireplace with chimney. We have a pretend fireplace that has a little space heater in it, but it is not real. So he's almost done. I need to stitch the key and the other Creme. So I've left the Creme, most of it for last. I've done a little bit of it, but he is almost finished. And he's on a scrap of something from Color and Cotton. It's definitely 32 count. I'm stitching this 2/2 with my own flosses, some of which are the called for, some are not. The Crynix are called for. They are on loan from a friend until I finish, which I need to give those back to her, those 2 spools that I have. But he's very close to being finished, and I'm kind of on a mission to finish him before the holiday this year and have him and fully finish him. So I have another fully finished day ahead of me. I was hoping to get some of those little tomato pincushiony themed things sewn up, but that didn't happen after I showed you my fabric last week. But I have a finish. My goal is gonna be, because I've got a little bit of an under the bed box. It's not terrible, but there are things. So one of my goals is to show you a finish as well as a fully finish in my videos, as well as what I'm working on, what I've finished, all that stuff. I really want to have an FFO in every video too until I get caught up. And that, thank you Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. So she set herself deadlines, like once she shows it in a Flosstube video, I think like a finish, she has like, I think 2 videos, so a month to get it fully finished, and that's what she's holding herself to. And so I'm really going to be trying to do, number 1, that, and number 2, trying to get through some of that pile that I have in my sewing craft stuff room. Now it's like an eBay room too. It's all the things. It is a multi-purpose room. It also is sort of like a pantry because we don't have a big pantry in our room. So there's like canned goods in there. It's wild. Spare rooms are wonderful, but that one definitely needs some organization, which will be a thing. Every time I get it organized, it just gets like, it ends up being space for like a new thing. So this is like so not Flosstube-y, but so because I've mentioned it twice now. So we're like doing the reselling thing, but we're not like, right now we're sourcing a lot of stuff from our house. We are like fully committed to like cleaning out all of our stuff that we like moved here with but haven't used. So we've been in this house for like it'll be 6 years. Gosh, sorry, I have like a hair that's bugging. We've been in this house, it'll be 6 years in like April. And there's some stuff that like came here from California with us that is still in boxes, and we're over it. So that was kind of the drive for it, to just like really start getting stuff out of our house. And then there's, you know, since I'm at the thrift stores looking for frames and things, there's been a couple other things that have just made sense for me to pick up and throw on there. And so we've got like packing materials and extra stuff and all the stuff that we've brought up from the basement that's listed so that we like know where it is. And I've got quilts that I'm finishing, and I've like a finishing area for cross stitch and some of the girls' crafts, like Play-Doh lives in there. It's a wild room. It's not that big. Someday. Sorry if you hear coughs. I've got a little one home sick with me today. She's feeling better, but she's on day 3, and that girl hates missing school. So, poor little thing. Okay. More whips, more cross stitch. That's what you're here for. I've also been working on 324. This has been a really easy one for me to take places with me, just because I can grab like 4 flosses, like depending on how long I'm going to be there. I usually will grab 4 to 5 flosses that I need and just throw them in the bag and then stitch those flosses. I also, my friend Tina, thank you Tina again, she came and saved the day and brought me some that I had been missing. So while this actually might not look like I have gotten a bunch done on it, what I did do was fill in a bunch of holes that I still have one right here. I asked for the wrong color for that one. I asked for a color that I already had because I'm adult. But so yeah, I've been working on this and filling it in where I can, and I love this project. Some of those colors, they just are not colors that you expect to like work there, and when you see them close up, you're like, that's not really my favorite color. Like, I don't know if I should, but yeah, just listen to Arlene and put the colors where it says to put the colors and do the thing. Here we go. The light is being nicer for a minute. So look at how pretty that is. So yeah, I've filled in, I think, oops, maybe like 12 since I've seen you last. A lot of them were like ones that were missing from here, and then like a couple in there. But yeah, some of the more motify ones that I did this time around, they were big ones. They were like ones that like took up the whole thing. Sometimes you get like lucky with like one like this, where like you're not doing a lot of work, and then like this one was one of the ones that I filled in. So it's like, that's so much more stitching than compared to that one. They're all beautiful. Every little motif's got its own little thing, but it's just funny because sometimes you're like, you burn through it real quick, and then some of them, you know, they take a little bit longer. Nothing wrong with that though. Like I said, so pretty. And then the last thing that I've worked on is one of my current long dogs, so Fish and Ships. And I've said this before, and now I'm really going to say it. So I had totally busted my, I was using, what do you call it? An Amazon Fire tablet, like one of these. It's an old one. So it's that like old connection thing where it had like that tiny little chip that needed to go into the tiny little slit. And if you moved it the wrong way, well, half of that little chip like broke in half. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So that will never take a charge again. And my progress on my Hades is on there and only there because I could never get it to like send my backups anywhere. So anyways, I need a new tablet, and then I'm gonna need to sit through and put all of my progress in on my Hades. Thankfully there are only 2. But the only reason I was using that pattern keeper for my long dog was so that I could tell you what percentage finished I was. I stitched them, I print out the pattern. Well, the other ones I've purchased, and then these ones are purchase ones because this one says, like, it has the Stitcher's Paradise tag on it. So like the reason I'm giving away the token is because I purchased that as a paper copy. This one I did not. This one I purchased as a PDF, so I won't ever be able to give this one away. But the other ones are paper copies. This one I am stitching also with Silks4U. The number is also down below because I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'm stitching it on Frozen Fractals by Fabrics by Steph. 40 count. Bought it at the Crafty Grimalkin. She has a lovely shop here in Bangor. If you are in town, I highly recommend you go. If you don't, there's her website. She has a lovely website. And her name is Reese. She is fantastic. All right, so fish and chips. I got a ship and some fish, actually. So I think I either only had 2 fish or 3 fish. So I finished all the fish in this row and I did this whole ship. This is what I worked on at Helen's house while we had our little gathering. I absolutely love how this is turning out. Now, I have some more of that red. I have not decided yet, but there are 1, 2, I think there's 3. Where's the other guy? I feel like there are 3 crabs on here. 1, 2, where's the other one? Well, one's here, here, and then there's a lighthouse, which I feel like are often red. So I'm thinking about adding, because like how I did with this, where I added the aqua for the birds and for our initials down here. I am thinking about adding the red in for the crab, the crabs, the one that's up here too, and then perhaps the lighthouse as well, just to kind of give it balance. I don't know, curious of your thoughts on that. And then do I use that same red? Do I find a different red? So I haven't stitched the crab yet because of that. And I was like waiting to figure out if I was going to stitch the crab and then go up. I might stitch the crab and see how it looks and then start stitching the blue or the turquoise up and make sure I still like how it looks, is sort of a thought that I'm having also. I don't know. I don't know. So anyways, that's my stitching that I've been working on. Plans. This is the pla video of the plans video. I don't even know if I have a pla. But I just got 2 new long dog patterns. I do want to replace my tablet. I've been really wanting to work on my Hades, and so I'm kind of extra bummed right now that the tablet is kaput because I want to work on it so bad. So I've been thinking about having a BAP year. I would still perhaps have some smalls. And again, I like to ruminate and create and then just in the other direction. So perhaps none of this will make it past the pla. I am hoping to do a plans video that will further either decide that there is going to be a plan or that we're just going to have a pla and we're not going to like move past that. But I have a lot of big projects. I finished 2 pretty big projects last year. The token and 99 are large projects. They're not huge, neither of them. I feel like the token and fish and chips kind of live in like that same world. The token's a little bit bigger, but I feel like, you know, not giant long dogs, but I have Act of God going. So that's a possibility of like really working on. I really want to get Lilies done, and I say that, and so that means I need to work on it, which is why I'm working on it now. I have All Creatures Great and Small from Barbara Anna. That needs some effort put into it so it can get done. I have a Peacock, a Unicorn, a Badger that has not nearly seen enough time, especially with how many people are really chugging along on that lately. So yeah, I'm thinking that I might need a BAP focused year. I am not saying that I'm gonna not start any new large projects, because I just showed you 2 long dogs and talked about a brand new one that I absolutely love. Plus there's the long dog that I've been talking about for a really long time that I can never remember the name of, but it's the one with the pyramids on it. And it had something about love, I think, in it. So yeah, I have even more big project aspirations. So I think, I mean, I guess even if I just focused on my whips, it would be a BAP year. BAP is a big, awesome project, or a big something else project that starts with an A, depending on your comfortability with that word. Yeah, so I have a lot of big awesome projects. I really love them all. I love working on them. I am a process stitcher. I do love having finishes. I am very proud of finishes. Finishes make me really happy, but they definitely are, I'm always happy when I'm stitching. So it's not that race to the finish, which is why I think I don't stitch as many smalls, or I like drag my smalls on forever. I can't even tell you how long I've been working on this. This is ridiculous. This is a tiny project. This should be done and finished and totally whatever. The finish is not always my motivation. It's the journey. I do, like I said, I do like having the finish. I love fully finishing. I love fully framing. I wish that I knew how to cut frames and mats, and that might come in the future. But like I just told you, the state of my extra room does not have space for any more hobbies, and finding flat surfaces to do these projects on is a challenge in this house. We have a small house and a lot of things. We're working on the things part. But yeah. So, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. If I missed anything, oh, I did miss something. I already talked about Stephanie and thanked her for her motivation on stitching me, but she also finished stitching my stocking that's in the Just Cross Stitch magazine. Congratulations, Stephanie. It looks beautiful. And the color that she chose, Frosted Sage, is one of my favorite, like, it's classic colorworks, I think. I used it in I think it's in both of my kids' birth samplers. That color is like so perfect, and then she used it to stitch my stocking, and so I love it so much, and your stocking looks lovely, and I can't wait to see it finished. If I missed anybody else that either shouted me out or has worked on the stocking, please like let me know. And then again, remember, if you want to enter the giveaway to win Long Dogs the token and the Silks4U silk that I stitched with as enough for a project to be stitched on 18 or 40 count, use the word silk in your comment, and I hope you have a lovely day, a lovely week. I hope that stitching is bringing you all sorts of joy, and thank you again for joining me.